The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Thexlar of the Vryn Collective delivered the ultimatum. His four eyes gleamed with what he believed was righteous authority as he addressed the lone human representative across the obsidian table. Your species has precisely 72 standard hours to surrender your outer colonies, Thexlar announced, his translator rendering his clicks and whistles into cold, mechanical words. Failure to comply will result in immediate military action. The Council has spoken. Ambassador Sarah Chen sat motionless, her hands folded neatly on the table before her. Around the circular chamber, representatives from 43 species watched with varying degrees of anticipation and anxiety. The humans were newcomers to the galactic stage, barely 2 centuries since first contact, and many had wondered how long it would take for them to learn their place in the established order. "I see," Sarah said softly, her voice barely audible in the vast chamber. "And this decision is final?" Thexlar's mandibles clicked in what his species considered a smile. The council votes were unanimous. 23 cycles of deliberation have concluded. Your expansion threatens established territorial boundaries. You will comply or you will be made to comply. Sarah stood slowly, her movements deliberate. She was smaller than most beings in the chamber. Yet something in her posture made several representatives shift uncomfortably in their seats. She reached into her jacket and withdrew a small data chip, placing it carefully on the table. "Then I suppose," she said, her tone still measured and calm, "that I should deliver my government's official response." She activated the chip. A holographic display materialized above the table, showing a star chart of human-controlled space. Red markers began appearing across the map, dozens, then hundreds, then thousands of them. "What you're seeing," Sarah explained, her voice taking on a harder edge, "are the locations of every military installation, defensive platform, and armed vessel in human space. We've uploaded complete technical specifications, defensive capabilities, and strategic deployment patterns." Confused murmurs rippled through the chamber. Councillor Zeph of the Aquilin Federation spoke up, her feathers ruffling. "You're surrendering your military secrets? This makes no tactical sense." Sarah's smile was cold enough to frost the air. "Oh, we're not surrendering anything, Councillor. We're saving you time. You see, humanity learned a long time ago, back when we were confined to a single planet, that the worst wars happen when one side miscalculates what the other is capable of. We nearly destroyed ourselves several times because of such miscalculations." She gestured and the hologram zoomed in on a single red marker. "This is the defensive station orbiting New Brasilia. It can hold off a fleet of 200 warships for approximately 16 hours before being overwhelmed. We estimate you'll lose between 30 and 40% of your attacking force in the process." Another gesture. The hologram shifted. "This is the Martian shipyard. It produces 147 combat-capable vessels per standard month. If you destroy it, we have 4 others at similar capacity. If you destroy all of those, we can retool civilian infrastructure to match that output within 6 months. Humans are very good at industrial warfare." Thexlar's confidence was beginning to crack. "You cannot possibly believe you can stand against the combined might of the Galactic Council." "Can't we?" Sarah's eyes swept across the chamber. "Let me tell you something about humans that perhaps didn't come through in your 23 cycles of deliberation. We are not a rational species. Not when cornered. Not when threatened." She pulled up historical records, images of ancient Earth conflicts flashing across the hologram. "When our cities burned, we built them back and continued fighting. When our armies were defeated, we sent new ones. When conventional warfare failed, we invented new ways to kill each other. We fought wars that lasted decades, centuries even, where entire generations knew nothing but conflict." The chamber had gone deathly quiet. "And do you know what finally stopped us?" Sarah continued. "Not wisdom. Not evolution. We stopped because we looked at the weapons we'd created. Weapons that could crack planets, poison atmospheres, turn entire star systems into graveyards, and we realized we'd become very, very good at one thing: survival through absolutely overwhelming force." She deactivated the hologram and placed both hands on the table, leaning forward. "So here's humanity's official response to your ultimatum, Ambassador Thexlar. We will not surrender our colonies. We will not retreat. And if you attack us, we will not stop fighting until either you're destroyed or we are. There will be no partial victories, no negotiated peace, no surrender." Her voice dropped to barely above a whisper. Yet every being in the chamber heard it clearly. We gave you our military secrets because we want you to understand exactly what you're choosing. We don't want there to be any miscalculations. You'll know exactly how many of your ships will die, exactly how many of your worlds will burn, exactly how long the war will last. Decades, probably, maybe centuries. Sarah straightened. Humans don't start wars, Ambassador, but we're exceptionally good at finishing them. The choice is yours. She turned and began walking toward the exit. The sound of her footsteps echoed in the absolute silence of the chamber. Thexler found his voice, though it came out as a strangled hiss. This is madness. You'd destroy yourselves rather than yield a few colonies? Sarah paused at the doorway and looked back over her shoulder. You're thinking about this wrong, Ambassador. We're not threatening to destroy ourselves. We're promising to destroy anyone who threatens us, regardless of the cost. That's the difference between species that evolved on worlds where nature was kind, and a species that had to claw its way out of a gravity well while simultaneously trying to kill itself. She smiled then, and it was possibly the most terrifying expression any of them had ever seen on a sapient being. We're not angry, Ambassador. We're not emotional. This is us being perfectly rational. In the human calculation, death before surrender isn't a last resort. It's a valid strategic option. And that more than any weapon we possess should terrify you. Ambassador Sarah Chen walked out of the chamber, leaving behind 43 species to contemplate a truth they'd never encountered before. That sometimes, the most dangerous opponent isn't the one with the biggest guns, but the one willing to use them without hesitation, without doubt, without mercy. 3 hours later, the Galactic Council reconvened in emergency session. The vote to rescind the ultimatum was once again unanimous. Human territorial boundaries would be respected indefinitely. Some lines they had learned should never be crossed, not because of what lay on the other side, but because of what would come crossing back.